Going to be these streams edited into clips and then sketches.
Nice.
So, and just try to pump out the content on a regular basis.
So, yeah. Is this the main, this is the main show, obviously, and, yeah.
I've always loved, like, sniping in first-person shooters. I'm pretty much always a sniper.
And this one actually has a realistic, ballistic...
like, well, they're all kind of different. Like, Fortnite's not. It's just kind of like...
I know that it does have, like, you have to wait for the bullet to actually travel.
Well, this has bullet drop, so you do have...
Yeah. Doesn't Fortnite too?
That's
I don't think it has bullet drop, but it definitely has bullet something. Like, it definitely, you gotta learn where the bullet goes.
Here's different situations where your crosshair should be when you are about 150, closer to 200 meters out. And I have very little footage on like 300-400 meter headshots, but I do have some footage, right? So check.
Travels, like it's very specific.
Well, each game is like unique in that way.
Of course. It's just that they're getting better. It's not just like Counter-Strike, where you just point and click and they're dead. Like there's no delay almost.
Well, that's also, it's like tighter environments.
Yeah, but even with the sniper, I don't know. There's like no delay, I don't think. Old school.
We have taken objective Duff.
So you're saying you're scaling back open micing?
Well, I just can't. Yeah, I'm trying to just really work my ass off on coding and trying to maybe get a part-time job coding, because I'm really stressed out about
work,
about all my bills, and like I'm fucking burning through cash right now.
I've done that.
My medical shit, just everything is so expensive, rent, and I'm used to living like this.
Halfway there.
But I don't want to go back to a fucking full-time job, because then it will keep me inside even more and keep me definitely not help me with comedy. I'm already wasting time not progressing.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way.
I'm doing enough skills to get funny. I'm getting funnier, but I'm not getting gigs. I'm not trying to get gigs. It's my fault. Like, I don't blame other people for not giving me gigs. I blame myself for not putting myself out there, and that's what you have to fucking do.
Yeah. What kind of gigs do you want?
I don't really care about the local ones, like the showcases, that much. I would do them, but I care about like actually like going somewhere, like actually a place where you might have to drive. Even like all these people are touring. Like some people I know at least have done tours across the country, like
Tyler Ross. I remember.
Yes, there's many, and that overwhelms the shit out of me. I just don't see myself ever doing that, like booking my own tour.
Yeah,
I'm not even egocentric. I don't even believe in myself enough to do that many gigs in one small space. I'd be like, well, I don't fucking want to go to Wyoming tomorrow. I fucking bombed in Albuquerque. I don't want to fucking do this. Even though I wouldn't care about bombing. Bombing's fine. It's just.
Oh man, that's so
awful.
Yeah, I just.
But that's what you gotta do. If you want to be a comedian, you gotta do it. You gotta travel.
Yeah, I never really wanted to be a stand-up. Like, I liked doing stand-up. Yeah, I was kind of always, like, more in doing videos. So, like, this is, like, more really what... this is kind of, like, low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Because it's just streaming, so I don't really have to do that much. And, like, just kind of hanging out and being funny. And, like, actually, like, sketches and real video, like, that is more what I've always wanted to do.
So you're just starting to get funny, basically, just to learn?
I just like work on jokes and meet people. Like, you know, you gotta have people to.
You don't feel like you developed a little bit of a stage presence, persona, delivery style? I
think I never really figured it out. So for me, it's like I have jokes that would work, and we're pretty, you know, we're okay, not great, but I never figured out my character. And so actually just recently I wrote something where I'm like, okay, well, here's a character, and all these jokes were really weird, and they just didn't feel they're just odd. They're sort of like Ray jokes. And I was like, you know, the problem is if you don't have a character, people are like, well, what the fuck? Yeah, it's a funny, like, it's a funny concept, but it just doesn't fit the character. You know, the joke has to fit the character. So
Sure.
That for me, I think, was always like my hang up and like what I, you know, my flaw in stand-up. And lacking confidence.
Do you care though? I mean, if you don't want to be a stand-up, doesn't.
I mean, I would do it.
Because you could obviously you could work on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
But if you don't want to be a stand-up,
I think it's always, you know, also like part of the doing stand-up where it's so much repetition. Like you have to practice that joke and then, you know, deliver it a bunch of times, and then once you've gotten those hurdles, then it's like, okay, well now you have to do those jokes for people. You know, here's the live shot, and it's hard for me. I mean, I'm sure everybody, but keeping it fresh, where you're like not bored by it, and like, you know, because you have to convey it like it's this really cool idea. I don't like a lot of times. I'm kind of like it's almost like an afterthought where I'm like I've figured this problem out, and now I'm kind of like. You know, it's just, I mean, but that's the whole meat of stand-up, and like, I don't think good at that. Fuck.
yeah, to be like
Just to
be a working comic, you need an act. You need a solid 10 or 20 or whatever.
Oh
you're
yeah,
booked for.
I never had that.
I'm terrible. Yeah, I don't even.
What do you think you have like a solid?
I definitely have something. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
It's not solid, but I could get through 10 minutes and do okay. But that's also because I don't do 10-minute sets that often, so it doesn't really matter. If I did more 10-minute sets, of course I would have a solid 10 by now. Jeez.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get sick of jokes, but also I'm getting better at faking it, like just because it's fun to just be in character. That the material is almost like not even the important part. It's just the delivery. It's just like I'm gonna have so much fun delivering. Kill this motherfucker.
What would you describe, or how would you describe your character?
Like more recently, it's been very like fucking high octane. Like I did one on Wednesday. I did 10 minutes on Wednesday. That was very over the top energy wise. Like I just went into it like not even worrying about how much I was gonna do well. I knew I would get some laughs eventually, so I just went into it fucking recklessly. Like I'm gonna fucking yell a lot and move around a lot.
Yeah, I never do that.
And that usually works.
Yeah.
And the jokes weren't even that strong, but the set was strong just because my energy.
Confidence.
Yeah,
energy.
confidence. Yeah, energy was so over the top that of course they were gonna react to it. Because look at this guy, acting so crazy. So yeah, material is such a fucking afterthought for me too.
Yeah, you're
especially at Mike's.
Well, you're very like a presence comic, you know, like that you really try to read the room, and like, you know, you don't just do your act. You're trying to like interact with people and do crowd work.
You could tell.
I mean, at least when I've seen you last.
Totally, you could tell when people are nervous. Like people just get right into their material sometimes, and it just seems like they're just nervously trying to just get that first laugh.
Yeah, I'm always doing that. Yeah, that's like one of my flaws.
And I guess sometimes I worry about that, but more recently I've started to not give a fuck, because as long as I'm having fun, I know that other people will. I don't know. I guess confidence is such a big thing.
Yeah, well, the times I've done well, like it was all confidence.
Yeah,
and like it was sort of just like delusional confidence.
Oh yeah,
and like that's where I, you know, trying to tap that again. Like when I first started, like I had so much confidence, but I wasn't funny. But I think that like I lost that like 6 months into it, and I never really kind of regained that confidence.
It's kind of
but my jokes got better, but then I just was like, you know, like
I mean, it takes so long to get truly like the Dunning-Kruger effect to actually come back up from once you lose the confidence from realize how much you suck. It takes genuine skill to regain the confidence.
Right.
So that takes forever.
I mean, it's interesting just seeing like comics that I started with, and then I'll see them, you know, now, and I feel like they've progressed so far, and like you know, they've gone over that slump.
Yeah, that makes me just want to work harder and catch up. Yeah, I hate feeling
Right.
left behind, like I'm falling behind.
Well, I see like on Facebook, and it'll be like, yeah, I just got this, blah blah blah, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of not tears you up inside, but
That always bugs me because it has nothing to do with talent. Because that's the part I'm never going to figure out. The talent part you don't really control. I don't know. The talent, I guess, is you're born. I don't know. That's a subjective thing too.
maybe
You
he's
do
born with
control
it.
how good you are. By working hard, you get better. But I do have control over that. What I'm shitty at is getting gigs. So yeah, it does bug me when I see people who are not talented get gigs. Like people a year in getting gigs that I've never gotten. Like, of course that bugs me.
So I was doing it like for 2 years,
We
and
have
I was
lost
like
Detective
really
Allen.
serious, doing mics every day. Anyway, I 2 different people I met in like a week. Just this
We have taken
that was like
objective
so
Freddy.
discouraging for me. Where I was like, oh, are you here? Like there was this girl at Hydrate, and I was like, oh, are you here for the mic? And she's like, oh no, actually I'm in the showcase. I'm like, oh okay. Like how long have you been doing comedy? She's like, oh, for a month.
Yes.
And like another guy I met, he was like, yeah, I've been doing it for 2 months, and he was like the act for that night. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it happens. It's always gonna happen.
Just 2 people that I ran into that are like, yeah, I've only been doing this for 2 months, for a month.
Yeah, I feel like how
And
long
I'm getting
yeah.
booked like on shows, and
Like how long you've been doing it, it's such a non-important factor for that. It's just like you gotta be a commodity in some way. If they're booking you, they gotta get something out of it. If they're just
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy's kind of funny, it's like, whatever, I don't really want to.
no.
You gotta be super funny, or you gotta know them. You gotta be friends with them. Or you just gotta be a chick, like that helps. Being a mildly funny chick, obviously you're gonna get booked
Yeah,
more than a
I
white
mean,
dude. That's just a fact.
I don't want to shit on female comedians.
I'm not.
but-
It's just a fact. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's just
I've noticed
hard to
that.
deny that. Of course, you're gonna.
Well, it's like streamers.
I would book a woman. It's like it's
Yeah.
more than a man.
Well, anyway, for streaming, it's just funny seeing like several of the top
Oh,
streamers.
streaming is all chicks with tits. Yeah.
Yeah, it's these girls with huge boobs.
That's not talent. Stand up. At least they're somewhat. At least they're doing something fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like they should get booked. We need more women for sure.
No. I admire. Like I'm just.
But
saying,
also
like,
that hurts them. Getting booked early takes away the drive, takes away your hunger, I think.
Yeah, and you need time to develop. Like you can't just.
Yeah.
I've always taken to heart like don't be
Detective Freddy.
fast and having people see you. You know.
Yeah, I feel bad when I do bad on shows. I don't feel like, oh yes, I scammed the system. I got booked even though I suck. No, it's not a.
No, you want to do well. Like
It's
you
not
want
a
to make
thing to be
people laugh.
Yeah, like I am jealous of it because they got the gig. I'm not jealous that they're not.
Objective apples.
That it's probably gonna hurt them in the long run. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm hungry because I don't know. I'm bitter, but I'm also still. There's a value in doing stand-up more than just for my own ego. I think at this point. The people in the countries watching this probably have no stand-up, have no concept of stand-up.
It's such an American
Like a stand-up,
art form.
like people watching is stand-up. You know what stand-up comedy is in Indonesia?
Yeah.
Is there Filipino comics? I know
I've
there's
watched
gotta be some.
foreign comics actually, like
Yeah.
just out of curiosity.
Never
I watched,
heard of Indonesians.
I watched an Indian comic, and it was like,
Yeah, India. There's some in there. There's some Indians probably watching.
well, he was like okay, but he had like a prominent. He was in a prominent theater,
And it was in
like,
English.
Objective charge.
It's in English, but he
Yeah.
has a heavy accent. Like I had
Right,
trouble
of course.
understanding him. I just thought it was interesting that he did it in English, and the audience is listening to it in English, obviously. And yeah, some of his jokes were culturally based, like about being Indian. That I'm like, yeah, it doesn't resonate with me. Like,
Walking closer, there was a guy with leprosy who was struggling to walk. She bumps into him, he gets cured, he starts doing squats. He won bronze for the Indian Olympics. What is happening? She's walking towards me, it's just symbol of perfection. Guys, by this time, my brain has fused twice.
I don't.
I mean, there's a huge market probably just for Indian audience, just to be an Indian comic. Just like there's Mexican comics who only cater to Mexican audiences, and even just black rooms. Not so much that, but there are markets that are pretty specific to nationality. So India's probably a big one.
Yeah,
But I've never heard of any other countries. No Chinese comics really, like. They all are either they just moved to America.
Yeah, I heard actually a guy, he moved to
Japan,
China.
nothing. No Japanese stand.
Really?
At least in Japan, I've never heard of it. I'm sure there's some. I've just never heard of it.
There was a girl on the scene that, like, I remember she was going out, at least when I was, like, a lot, and she was from China.
Yeah.
It's definitely English as second
I don't know
language.
any. Yeah, I've heard of a couple.
And she was okay. She actually had some funny jokes, but it definitely, there was a pretty severe language barrier. But she seemed nice. It was just like...
Yes, some definitely do it in America, and like they do it, and they speak English, but like, yeah, in their native country, yeah.
In Soviet Russia, car drive you.
Yeah.
Yakov Schmidt, what's his name?
Yeah, that's it. Pretty sure that's it.